What's happening, everybody? This little video, we're going to take a look at the basic combo structure in Street Fighter 6. I think it's really important to learn how combos work for the future because there's a really free-form nature to them in this game. There are specifics, of course, character-dependent things, but this game has an internal mechanical system that lets combos kind of follow a pattern. So I want to teach you a little bit about how that pattern works. So when you go to pick up a character, you can just throw in the moves they have that fill that pattern, and your, 60% death combos are ready to go. So let's take a look at how combos kind of work in general. Pretty much every fighting game, you could break combos down into a starter, middle part, and then an ender, right? Like there's got to be something that begins and something that ends. In Street Fighter's case, most of the starters are just a normal button that you might hit. And then the enders are one of your special moves, for example. So any move that you have, it is called special cancelable. You can go right into a special move like that. The list of all of those I'll keep in guides, for character-specific combos. Not every move can do this, right? Like that medium kick can, but that heavy kick cannot. So you kind of need to know those. So if you have that, any cancelable move can be a mini combo. Starter, ender. Starter, ender, just like that. That's the smallest possible combo you could get, but it fits the bill. Starter, ender. So for the most part, when you catch them with something, you're playing the footsies and neutral, you're throwing out the pokes. When you hit something, that's when you go for the combo after that and try to keep going. So any move that allows you to get more damage on hit is a good combo starter. Again, usually just normal buttons. Some have different properties, some have others. And those will be what we'll go over as combo starters in any specific video. There are other things that you could do because of how counter hits work and punish counter. Sometimes you get moves that link together like this. You see Chun-Li can just do her standing medium punch and her crouching medium punch. That's a combo in and of itself. And the nice thing about that is you could just do this and you have plenty of time to see that it hits. Whereas if you just do that and it gets blocked, you're in trouble, right? So having several hits like that allows you to hit confirm and then not do the dangerous ender part without it being worth it. So you get more of those options because of counter hits. Sometimes you can now link a jab into a medium punch and then go from there. And punish counter is even more so. You can link a lot of stuff like, heavy into heavy for some characters. So those give you a lot more extra options in your combo starters. And they're all situational depending on what you get. If you're using it as a counter poke, if you're using it, to punish some mistake they did, etc. And the addition of drive rush works really well for combo openers because the move that comes out of drive rush also gets a significant frame data enhancement. Usually on block, they're going to be plus, which kind of keeps the opponent pinned down a little bit. And if they happen to hit, you get all kinds of combo opportunities from one of those because of that enhanced frame data. So that's the nature of combo starters. Basically anything that you can hit with that will let you hit them for free afterwards if you know how to do it correctly. And in this game, again, it's usually just simple, normal buttons. Special cancelable, normal buttons. So let's skip a part and just talk about combo enders specifically, because most cases you're just going to find a stray hit here and there just like that. You can fill the combo with more stuff if you wanted to, right? There's options out there. But a lot of times you're going to catch a simple thing and boom. So let's take a look at what enders do for your combo and how to choose them. As the last hit, for whatever reasons, you want to get the most that you can. Like a lot of combos will end, say, with like an airborne state, for example, like that, and you can only hit them one more time on their way to the ground. Some examples of this would be Juri's heavy Fuha. She kicks in the air and she gets Dragon Punch when it lands. Ryu here can do the EX Donkey Kick and he can Dragon Punch off the wall bounce, right? You get one more shot to hit him. So you want to hit him with the biggest thing that you possibly can. The name of the game is adding more damage onto the length of your combo to get as much hurt on them as you can before you run out of the opportunity to do so. But on top of that, you definitely want to consider a lot of other options sometimes. Like if you get a hard knockdown like that, they can't get up specifically. They can't delay the timing or whatever. So this hard knockdown gives you a lot of advantage, right? You want Oki whenever you can get it. You want to create a situation where your opponent is kind of like bound to what you're going to do next. They have to sort of wait on your next move without being able to act themselves. So the wake up game is also important And things like being able to do damage to the opponent's drive stock are also a factor. You could do different combo paths that'll deplete more of their bar, like using supers and stuff like that. And the ability to carry them from one side of the stage to the other. You know, moves that you happen to hit somebody with, like spinning bird kick, for example. You know, look how far forward it goes. They're all the way in the corner from that one hit. Corner carry is very important because in the corner, you're in big control. So all of those can be bigger factors than just more damage when it comes to ending your combo. So you definitely want to consider that. You want to know the max damage options that you have, and you want to know what else you could do to maybe create a better situation for the rest of the round after the combo. But as far as damage goes, your super moves are really good to end the situation because as combos go on, you can see right away as I just hit 3 jabs, look at the top where it has the damage and the scaling goes down, right? You can see 10% or 100%, 90%, 80%. Each successive hit in a combo starts doing reduced damage just to keep it balanced, right? If every hit did the max damage in a combo, characters would die every single time. So as the combo gets longer and longer, the successive hits do less and less. So you want to front load combos as much as you can with your big hits, but generally if you can keep the combo going and add more stuff to it, it usually pays off. It's not very often that the scaling actually costs you more than extra hits add. It can, but it's not very often. That's a rare case. However, super moves are excellent for ending a combo because let's say you get a combo that's like 15, 16 hits long. These last couple of shots you're hitting them with are scaling like 20%, right? They're only doing 15 damage instead of 400 damage. But super moves have a minimum scaling in combos of 50%. Well, at least you're level 3. I didn't test the rest of them. For the most part, you want to do your level 3 in the combo because of that. It does an absolute grip of damage, and it has minimum scaling. I mean, just watch how much it does by itself, right? You're going to hit them for 4,000. So in a combo, the minimum damage that can do is 2,000. It won't scale any lower than that. So you could do a combo that gets, 3,000 or 4,000 damage, and you end it with a level 3, now all of a sudden it's 5,000 or 6,000 damage. So ending with supers are really good because that damage is a great way to cash out as much as you can, but not always. Sometimes you want to keep that for other situations. There's a lot to think about in a fighting game, but as far as raw damage goes, supers are one of the best enders because they have minimum scaling. Some cases, your last couple hits are just scaled in nothing. Supers balance that out. They're always good to end combos with, no matter what. And the last thing to consider about combo enders is a lot of them are dependent on what the previous move was. Most of that depends on like the heavy value of it. Like heavy spinning bird kick does more damage than light spinning bird kick. But you can't combo the heavy off of a ton of different things. You can't just do that little jab kick into a heavy one. See, I can do that. I can do 2 little lights into the light spinning bird kick. Can't do it into the heavy. I needed to get like a heavy attack in order to combo that. So choosing that ender in the situation is based on what came before it. If my combo ends up in such a situation where I do have a heavy punch like this lined up, I can go for the heaviest ender. But some combos don't. Depending on how they start, you can't always get what you want. Some combo starters don't let you link or combo or cancel or whatever into max damage stuff right away. You're limited. You can't always go for the heaviest thing each time. And some characters can work within that system, and some characters like Jamie or Jury or something that has stocks and upgrades get better and better options at this point. So it's a general rule, though, that you want to get heavy hits as much as you can because it's heavy hits that lead into heavy specials for the most part. That's really what you want to get. So you want situations and mechanics that let you get a heavy punch involved in your combo. Like if you get a jump in, you don't want to just do lights like that, right? That's a waste of time. You just jump in with a light. Whereas I could do that and get heavy. Way more damage. So that's what you got to think about before you get to the end of your combo is what exactly got you there. So in the terms of how you get to the end of your combo, let's talk about extenders. All the stuff that you can do in the middle from your first hit to your final hit. As we talked about, most of your starters are just going to be a single hit for the most part, or a link like this, right? And just ending the combo right away with, medium lightning legs or something, totally fine. There you go. But we want to talk about extenders. There's 2 primary ways to do this. One of them is the new drive rush system, which any special cancelable move can do. Any move that we talked about that's able to cancel into that can cancel into drive rush. Now, this drive rush does lots of things for you. I don't need to talk about the entire details of what it does and doesn't do, but for the most part, when you land something and you drive rush, your next button is going to hit and contain extra super good properties. Like, for example, we saw this medium punch link into crouch, right? That's the best that she has out in the open. That's fine. But when you do it in a drive rush situation, it links into back heavy punch, the double palm. Look at that again. That combos now, just because of the way drive rush affects the first move that comes out of it. The first move that comes out is super powered. So what that lets you do now is take one of these hits, like this basic string, and instead of just ending it into your special like that, you can convert it to that whole combo now. So the opener, which was this, into the extender, which is that. Drive rush is the best way to do that in this game. It's completely designed around that. Every character has them. Every character has tons of cool stuff they can only access with that. It's a very good system. Because of the way that frame data works, you can generally upgrade into a heavy button, right? Like, I don't want to do drive rush into that again, right? Standing into crouching, standing into crouch. I don't want to do that. That's a waste. Because the properties the drive rush gives me, I can do that now instead, and it combos. And the fact that I have this heavy punch means I can do heavy specials, like so. Heavies that might have extra properties they didn't before. A good example of this would be the heavy kicks. Can follow up into that super. There's a little bit of a float at the end of it. The other kicks can't do that. The light and the medium ones can't do that. You can only do that with the heavy kicks. You can only get heavy kicks as your ender by having a heavy punch like this preceding it. So now that you can drive rush and turn a medium punch into a heavy, now you can combo all the way into that. So that's what the goal, one of the goals of your extenders is to make sure you get the best possible follow-up to end your combo with. Set it up so you can get the max stuff. Oh, I can only do this off a heavy punch. I can only do this off of certain type of... Set that up with your combo extenders. That's what it's for. Drive Rush does a great job of that. Drive Rush will usually let you do stuff like a medium punch into a heavy. And then that heavy is the best thing that you could get for the next segment. On top of that, you could Drive Rush twice. You can technically do it again. Like that. That costs your entire drive stock, as you can see. You don't want to do that unless you're going to win the round. Plain and simple. The damage starts to scale. You can see that last hit only came in at 42%. You're going to get less and less damage, and it takes all of your bar. You only do that if you know you can kill with an extra 300 or 400 damage, or whatever it might be. So you can do that twice to double extend a combo, basically, but it's usually not recommended. The payoff is not there for the damage you get versus the amount of drive stock you spend. Needless to say, doing it once is usually going to end up doing just fine. So when we look at combo extenders, we have to incorporate two things. Like we just talked about how your ender is based on the move that came before it. So if you want to get the best possible ender, your combo extender should end in an appropriate way, right? For example, things like heavy versions of specials, you generally can't get them out of light attacks. Right? I do 2 lights and then a heavy spinning bird kick. Doesn't work. Light does, but it does significantly less damage. I need something like a heavy attack to go into the heavy spinning bird kick. So you want to make sure your extender leaves you in a situation where you can get the best possible ender from it. Like if I end in that heavy punch so I can get heavy legs afterward, or end in this so I can get heavy spinning bird kick, whatever it might be. So you have to make sure you maximize your damage by extending it in the right path, so to speak. But you also have to be sure that the beginning of your combo extender is compatible with how you started. I know that makes a lot of like complicated things all at once, but it's really not that bad. The primary combo extender method in this game is Drive Rush. You can hit any special cancelable move, and as we talked about, most special cancelable things, there's your quick mini combo. You can do the same sequence into Drive Rush like that. Just double tap forward out of your combo starter and you get Drive Rush, which begins your combo extender. So for the most part, Drive Rush gives you everything you need to make your combos bigger and better. Generally, when you hit something and you Drive Rush, your next follow-up attack is going to land. It's rare that it doesn't work. Usually you can get whatever you can think of into your next hit. But your next hit at a drive rush also gets super powered, so you can do something better. Like the keenest example of this is we've seen Chun-Li standing medium into crouching medium, right? Counter hit is on, which doesn't even need to be. Without counter hit, she gets that, right? Boom, 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 boom. But if she drive rushes a medium punch, she gets that. She can link that into a heavy. Her back heavy punch does way more damage. So you get 1200 from the normal sequence. You get 1400 from that sequence. So you get more damage by using the combo extender that's heavier, and because it ends in a heavy punch, you get a better combo finisher out of the deal too. So that's the goal of extenders, is making sure you get the best options out of where you started and then where you plan to end your combo up with. You can do lighter stuff, but the whole point is to get, you know, the most out of it that you can. So when I go through videos that are based in this format, I'm going to list, here's what you do that's the most damage most of the time. And there's some exceptions. So there's a couple basic rules to think about, which is kind of like we talked about before, how you need to do a heavy move to go into heavy spinning bird kick. That sort of applies in situations like the drive rush. For the most part, when you do a light, you have to drive rush into another light. Like if I go for just this and drive rush into medium, doesn't work. The crouching light punch there does not produce enough hit stun, even with the drive rush speed up or whatever, doesn't connect. But I can dash up and do a jab. So in some cases, that's going to limit what you can do. Now you have to do a jab, which only can go so far, right? Usually the bigger the button, the bigger the hit stun, et cetera, et cetera. We saw how medium links to itself normally here, and then under drive rush, medium links into the heavy. So in a lot of cases, you might be stuck with, you know, a drive rush situation where you have to go light into medium, like that. In Chun-Li's case, it turns out she doesn't have to. She can link her light punch into the back palms like that. So light can link into palms in drive rush in Chun-Li's case, but you're not always going to see that. So that's kind of the thing you have to look about. That's sort of where the bridge connects the two sides. I have to start the drive rush sequence with a jab because I did a jab before that. But in this case, I can end the drive rush sequence with a heavy, so I can do a heavy ender, which is what you ultimately want. Not every case is going to do that. You might be stuck with a medium in some cases, but that's how the follow-up videos are going to be formatted, right? Most of the time you can do this, but under certain exceptions, you have to do this, and you may not get the maximum value out of having to do that, but it is what it is. Not every character gets max damage off of every single touch. So you do have to learn a few different facets of that system. So drive rush is the primary way to extend this combo format in this game. But there's a couple of other things that you could do that are built into the character's combo systems. An example of that would be something that has like a juggle state or a wall bounce or anything like that. Chun-Li can do overdrive Hazanshu, and there's a juggle state at the end of it. Or she can do EX spinning bird kick, and there's a juggle state at the end of it. These things can extend your combo in a slightly different way. Instead of just, you know, ending it with a regular spinning bird kick, I can do an OD spinning bird kick and get even more out of it. So if I get something that leads me into the OD spinning bird kick, I can get even more off it from that. Use another drive rush. There's lots of combo options when it comes to juggle states like that. But for the most part, this is a basic extension. The OD spinning bird kick lets you do something like that. But since you have a one last hit juggle state in there, like we talked about in the starters, you can do other stuff. You can use your drive rushes to catch them in juggles. Drive rush has some weird properties that lets you do things just like that. Normally you can't just juggle people with a jab out of the air, but in drive rush you can do stuff like that. So there's a lot to explore there on a character by character basis. But that's like the other primary means of extending a combo, is using a special move that has a built-in way for you to go further. So even things like heavy Hazanshu. That whole combo comes from a special move starter. That move links directly into medium punch, no frills necessary. So you can do that. If you can find a way to do that in the middle of a combo, which frankly is kind of impossible, it does exist, but that would be a way to extend it. You don't need to drive rush to keep going there. If you could do like starter, 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 then that, and then extend that way, even more damage. Not everybody can do that. Another example would be Jury has this like overhead crescent kick that if it has a stock built up, it combos. She can just hit you again afterward. Used to see a lot more of these things in older versions of the game, like Street Fighter 4 Sakura being able to do her light tatsu and a jab, light tatsu jab like a million times, stuff like that. Those don't completely exist in this game, but they're not completely wiped out either. There are a few of them that do have built-in combo extensions that you should definitely learn on your character. So those are pretty much the only way to do it. The extender gets you a little bit more damage in the middle, but it has to be something that you can combo out of your starter and into your ender correctly. So it's up to you to learn how that works, and my goal is to teach you what the tools are. But that's pretty much it. That's the theory of combos for the most part. And again, character-specific details are everywhere. The properties you get off of certain OD specials, like bounces and what have you, or crumple stuns, command throws, whatever they might be, are variable. But for the most part, if you think about combos in terms of starter, the middle part, and ender, you just kind of go from there. The middle part can be a lot, but most of the combos in this game, that middle part, if you even want to do it, because, you know, usually drive rush is the way to do it, can cost resources, can cost you your drive stock and potentially burn you out, which you don't want to do regardless of the damage. So just think about it that way, right? You have a list of combo starters. You're throwing out your pokes in the neutral game, right? You're trying to keep them pinned with stuff like this. You're anti-airing, whatever it might be. You're getting close. You're trying to whiff punish with one of these things. In your mind, you have a set of things that you want to go for. Like, I'm this far away, I want to whiff punish with that, because that gets me like a big, you know, punish counter combo situation. Or I want to catch him with this, which lets me link on counter hit, stuff like that. You're thinking about your set of openers and what you can do from them. The openers themselves all have a particular situation. Like, for example, this is a good long-range punish tool, and you can see that this move, which you kind of just throw out normally, combos when you get counter hit states from it. So you're throwing this out as like a long-range punish tool, and then bang, you get a combo every time you tag them with it. The same thing is true of her heavy kick. Her heavy kick has a nice comboable state in it. So those are things you want to use for whiff punishing. You're not throwing these out in neutral because you feel like it. I mean, this one is pretty good because of its range, but for the most part, your heavy stuff is kind of dangerous. They're risky. You don't want to get these blocked. You're not throwing out heavies just to do it. Somewhere a Street Fighter 5's player head just exploded. But they have their purpose. You got to learn what the purpose of those moves are. So in Chun-Li's case, long-range punish. Whereas this thing up close, this is a really good fast normal. And you're going to go for this because you see, oh, I got it, there's my combo. Right? You're poking, you're threatening, you're doing this, throwing Kikokens, doing my elbow thing. Oh, I got him, there's the combo, right? You look for your hit, and then once you got your hit, you move on to the next part of your combo. But you have to know, you have to be prepared. You have to know, okay, I'm going to throw out these medium punches. What does medium punch do if I get them? And that would be what's covered in like the combo starter section of any of my other videos. Oh, if you get this medium punch, there it is. That's what you do. Or if you just get your crouching medium kick, that's what you do. If it's a counter hit, you do this instead. That's how I'll describe combo starters in this character-specific videos. So you have to learn that. You have to learn the situation you're using buttons in and what could result from that possible situation in terms of a combo. And then the rest of it kind of fills in itself. You go for the extension, and your drive rush middle extension is generally going to be the same thing like every time. I'm going to do that like every time. Drive rush in with the medium punch, back heavy palms into the stance. And then into the stance, your light kick into special. That's all going to combo. That's pretty much what I'm going to do every time. You could do that several times. The light kick out of stance is also cancelable, so you could do another loop. But like we talked about, you're generally going to start losing damage in exchange for what it costs you to do that. It depends. Like I said, you can use it if it kills. Otherwise, save your bar for something else. But I'm going to do that every time. That's pretty much my combo every time. I hit him with something. And then that. I'll spend the EX if I got enough bar to get that extra juggle state at the end. But you don't have to. You can just do a light version and be done. Right? You don't have to do that whole thing. That's usually enough, right? You get a knockdown from that, that's good enough. You can't ask for too much more than that. So if you picked up on any of those little tips, that should help you a little bit. The rest kind of depends on getting out there and playing a lot. So check it out in the lab, hit some ranked battle, and try to just work things in one at a time. Think about simple combos, then think about bigger combos, and it'll start to become automatic pretty soon. So that's going to do it for this. Be sure to check out character-specific combo videos I have coming with this knowledge in mind. I'm going to frame them just like that. Here's your starters, here's the middle, here's the end. So you could kind of just build that knowledge piecewise, and you're ready to go without having to memorize sequences. You know how it works. So I'd appreciate if you would check those videos out. Be sure to click subscribe and the notification bell down below so you get alerts when that does happen, and I'll see you out there. Later.